All right, guys, it's the moment we've all been waiting for a little while anyway. I put a little announcement on Facebook the other day in the group that we're going to be talking about the MSA plan that's coming out in 13 states. Now, before I get started, I want to let you know that I'm going to go over some basic details and as much as I can talk about, but I'm not gonna give away the ship because, to be honest, I'm not allowed to. So I'm just going to hit on some things to see if any of this makes sense to you, or if you have any questions or are interested. And at some point, I'll be able to disclose more of it. So what I want you to do is listen up, and then if you are interested in finding out more, I want you to message me just message me or comment in the comment section below the video, and I will get you more information as soon as I can. So that's it. So stay tuned, and I'll be right back. Okay, so I'm going to go over the basics first. What is an MSA plan, and how does it, help you? How does it come into your process for deciding what's best for a client, or helping a client decide what's best for them? So what is an MSA? An MSA is a medical savings account, and it's a type of Medicare Advantage plan. Now, we don't see them very commonly. There are a couple that have existed, like one in Minnesota, one in New Jersey. Some of them have failed for various reasons. But this new one's going about it a different way, in a way in which I believe they'll be able to succeed. And they seem to have some money behind their backing, because they're launching in 13 states. First thing I'm not going to be able to tell you is what states those are. However, I can tell you that they are 13 great Medicare states, great states to do business in Medicare. So whether you're MedSup or Medicare Advantage. An MSA plan is different than other Medicare Advantage plans because, like a private fee-for-service plan, they allow you to use any doctor that accepts Medicare. So there's no PPO, there's no HMO, there's no network limitations. So some people say, well, can a doctor turn them down? And a doctor, could technically do that, but it would be kind of silly for them to, because it'd be like turning away cash, because that's kind of the way the plan is designed, is to be a lot of it's cash pay. They're not getting negotiated down, and most of the reasons that doctors turn down certain networks has to do with their reimbursement rate and the speed at which they're reimbursed for their services. So with this plan, I don't think that'll be an issue. With this plan also, it will not have drug coverage. MSA plans do not have drug coverage with them, which could be good and bad. It's good in a sense because you are allowed to sell them a separate drug plan, which means increased commissions for you. Plus, it means you get to tailor the prescription coverage to their drug list. So they're in a sense getting a better drug plan from the get-go anyway, because it's tailored to what they're taking and their pharmacy. So why would we choose an MSA? Let me backtrack a little bit. So the concept of an MSA, or Medical Savings Account, Medicare Advantage Plan, is that you would have a debit card or a savings account with a little bit of money you get deposited at the beginning of each year. And you can use that money towards anything, but primarily it's tax exempt for medical purposes. So you have that money for your medical purposes. And then that plan would have a maximum out of pocket, which could be various amounts. Some of the ones that came out that failed, I think, had too low of a maximum out of pocket, which exposed them to too much risk right away. And so when the claims started coming in, they shut some of those down. But this one has a decent spread, so that deposit amount is the one thing that I have disclosed, so I'll go ahead and say it again. Basically, on this one, you would have around a $2,500 or $2,520 deposit each year. Now, the way Medicare Savings Accounts works, that account money would roll over each year, whatever's left in it. and that's not like it rolls over 1 year and then expires. It's continuously rolling over. So ideally, you have a client that has very low expenses, and many of them do. You could have them rolling that, say 300 of that 2,500 over each year, and for 3 or 4 years they've built up a savings account enough to more than cover any maximum out of pocket that can be thrown at them. So with the MSA plan, so now we know they have basically, if they don't have any crazy expenses in the year, then they can technically have a plan that costs nothing, so it's zero premium, that gives them enough money to pay all of their routine doctor's visits and all that stuff, and they can use any doctor or hospital they want to. So that sounds pretty good. Now you do have to sell them a drug plan, which would cost a little bit of money. I should turn that off. So that drug plan would cost a little bit of money, and also the parameters of it. So it would have that maximum out of pocket like a normal Medicare Advantage does. What we're used to seeing is $3,500 to $6,700 type ranges, and I can say it's going to be somewhere in that ballpark, and it can be a little bit different depending on the area you are in or you're riding in. I'll say another. So why would I choose an MSA? Many people that would normally do a high deductible plan F, it might be a great option for. People who are stuck in who didn't get a Medicare supplement on time and are stuck in an Advantage plan that has a limiting network and really just want the flexibility of any doctor to use. It can be an option for people who are very, very healthy when they're turning 65. It might be a way to get them, they don't like the idea of a Medicare supplement coverage. They're looking at free Medicare Advantage plans, but you're talking to them about the options of being able to go to whatever doctor you wanted to and not having to worry about your services being turned down by your carrier. Those types of people can build up enough in the rollover debit card amount to make it worth their while. So that would be a good option. Now for you, the agent, you're going to get the general lifetime renewal, Medicare Advantage compensation. Plus, if you write a separate drug plan, you're getting a separate compensation for that and tailoring it to meet their needs. And then you can also cross-sell with it pretty easily, hospital indemnity coverage and a critical illness lump sum plan that would cover any, out-of-pocket they might have in those first couple of years. So those are great reasons to do it. And so who can join an MSA? Well, it's standard Medicare Advantage rules on MSAs. So, anybody that you would normally put in those plans, you can put them in there. Now, I would make sure who you're putting in there is specific. I personally think anybody writing in these 13 states when we release them, or when they release them, anybody writing in those states would be very silly to not have it in their bag of tricks, because there are going to be some cases that come up for it, and there are going to be people that will rewrite your Medicare supplements or your Medicare Advantage plans with this one based on that freedom of doctor, freedom of hospital, based on having that debit card with the amount of money on it, just based on a lot of things like that. So that would be a reason why I would have it for sure. Would be to defend yourself against these other carriers out there. So just was looking at some good stats that somebody had sent me, and this just kind of breaks down, and kind of re-elaborates why choosing an MSA could be good. So this is from Kaiser Family Foundation. There are, let's see here, the one I liked was a substantial share of the population spends $200 or less out of pocket on healthcare services each year. So it says 94% of the population in 2015 spent less than $2,500 on out-of-pocket healthcare costs. So that's a huge percentage of our population that's spending under what you're getting on that debit card each year. Another part that made a lot of sense was it said considerable spending variation exists among the elderly, who see the highest portion of health spending overall. So it says the graph shows 50% of all the claims over age 65 come from 10% of the population. So it's basically saying that almost all the claim money comes from only 10% of the elderly population. And to break that down more, the average spend per individual for 65 plus in the whole country, average spend on medical per year is $11,067. Of course, that average is getting brought up by some of these people that have kidney dialysis treatments and chemotherapy and all these things, but the average cost of the lowest half of that 50%. So when you break down that 50% mark, the average cost of them is $885 a year. So, and I think a significant portion of people just going for their routine checkups. Problem is, we don't know what's going to happen, and that's why I think if you do consider this as an option, you should definitely look into having someone hospital indemnity plan and a critical illness plan, at least a lump sum one small enough to pay the out of pocket there. And I think it's a good option for some people, and I think you're going to run into people that are hesitant, and when you show them this, that'll make a lot of sense to them. So I'm not going to say a lot more about it because I don't want to steal anybody's thunder or anything like that. So when more information is available, I will get it to you. But in the meantime, I think that makes a lot of sense for people out there. So give me a shout via messenger or in the comments below if you have any more questions. I know this is a kind of almost like a revelation to be releasing in 13 states simultaneously a type of plan that really has the ability to have some market share. And I think that everyone needs to have it in case they need it, and I think a lot of you might chisel out a large niche that it makes sense to. So I like to say when I'm talking to my clients that I'm not necessarily telling them what to get. Like when I'm breaking down the difference in F and G, yes, I'm going to tell them what I think is the best value, but I want them to see different options and pick. And if you throw this option on the table, you're going to have some people that pick it. So give me a shout, and hope I can get some more valuable information to you really soon.